Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today on Masechtas Nedarim daf Ayin Ches. We are going to begin on the bottom of Ayin Zayin Medbeis, 3 lines to the bottom. Rav Yochanan. So we know that there's two different things, as we mentioned in yesterday's daf, which is hafara and she'ela. When it comes to a husband, the husband is mefer in the Nedarim of his wife, and it has to be on that day. And the way this works is that when you are mefer in the neder, it ends up being removed in a different way than the way the chacham has it removed. The language of mefer means only from now on. However, when it comes to the chacham, when he's matir in neder, it's mashma that it is mutter mikaroi, from the onset, or from retroactively, lamafreya. And therefore, because of this, they cannot say different languages, because each of these languages of being mater, which is lamafreya for a chacham, or she'ela, which, or being mefer, which is mekan labah for a husband to a wife, you can't mix them. And that's why Rabbi Yochanan chacham shem b'loshen baal, baal shem b'loshen chacham lo mer klum. You can't say these different languages because each one connotes different things, and you have to be exact. The sign is zeh hadavar hachacham mater ve'ein baal mater. Only the chacham is able to have it removed. Again, lo mafreya, who is like it never happened, but the husband doesn't have that ability. He only works mekan labah. Shachol, because you would maybe think. When it comes to a chacham, that he cannot be mefer, but yet he can be he's matir, as again retroactively. So baal shemefer and then shematir. So maybe he should also be able to be matir. You can say the kavacham the other way around. Matir. Again, it has to be specifically in that way. Tani idach zedavar. Baal mefer ve'ein chacham mefer shechel, because you could say the kavacham the other way around. Ma baal shein matir mefer, a husband can't be matir the neder, but he can be mefer it. So chacham shematir and didn't shemefer, so he should be able to do hafara also. He should be able to use that same language. Talmud learner zehadavar baal mefer ve'ein chacham mefer. So you can't use you cannot use a kavachomer because you have exerce akasav that goes against it. Look at the Ran over here on the previous Amud. So loshen baal hainu muferloch, baal shemer b'loshen chacham shemer materloch, loshen baal mafurishu because of the hainu loshen hafara. It says hafara in the pasuk. Loshen chacham the havi muterloch mashmalei minexivo yachel devaro. Lo yachel devaro koloimer lo yas devar chulin. Don't make the matters into chulin, and chulin is muter v'shaychel meimer b'hu. So that's what it means. We continue on Ein Chesed Aleph. The Ran further says, when the husband is mefer his wife's nedarim, that's only from now on. Which is question 3. Again, the Baal Lashon Hatara, the Chacham Lashon mefer of the husband is mekanal behelach, and mutter is mashma even retroactively, or mutter mi karoi. Okay, fine. Right. So the Gemara says, Nemer kan zehadavar, nemer hon zehadavar, b'shchuti chutz. Now we know there's a prohibition of taking a carbon and shechting it outside of the designated area of the Beis HaMikdash. So mash b'shchuti chutz. And we're very precise. You have to do the karbanos in the exact precise manner. And therefore, he says like this: So we say it applies to Aaron of his children, all of Yisrael. Parshas Nedarim, Aaron of B'chol Yisrael. Stop 1 second. Says the Ran, the Haksiv Beresh Hahi Parsha Daber El Aaron Vel Bana Vel Kol Bnei Yisrael. Says it explicitly. Shekul and Shavin Ba, they're all equal. Parshas Nedarim, Aaron of Bana B'chol Yisrael Dekulon Sharon Lo Hater Es Haneder. Everyone has the ability to be mater and neder. There's no exceptions. Everyone has this ability. Umakan Rashi Hamatais, Avahon Rashi Hamatais. Just like in the Nedarim it says Rashi Hamatais, it says that the heads, so too when it comes to Shchuti Chutz, it's Rashi Hamatos. The Gemara is going to explain what does that mean. the Rashi Amatos regarding to Shchuti Chutz. So, but Parshas Nedarim L'mai Hilchasa. The fact that it says Zeh Hadavar, what is that coming to teach us regarding to the laws of Nedarim? So Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov L'Hachshir Shloisha Hedyotos. It's come to tell you that even 3 Hedyotos are able to remove retroactively this neder. Says the Ran, Hai Hedyotos Dekamrinan Lo Kulu Hedyotos Ksherin. Not all of them. El Hanhu Dechim Masprilhu Mia Savri. And it says down here, Pshita do Chazol Hatin Nedarim Dekivandalo Savri Klal Efil Kashin Matirin Inu Yodin Ma Matirin. So it doesn't mean, again, that they basically have no knowledge whatsoever. It has to be that it has to have someone with some element of knowledge, otherwise they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so ayin that Ran. V'ha Rashi Hamatos Ksiv. What do you mean? It says Rashi Hamatos, which is mashma, you have to have an expert. So Marav Chisda v'Temarav Yochanan b'Yochid Mumcha. So as we said, that you could have either one. So either you could have the 3 Hedyotos, or because Rashi Hamatos comes to tell you that you can be matir the neder with 1 expert. Rashi Hamatos b'Shchuti Chutz L'mai Hilchasa. Some Rav Sheshes loymer sheish she'ela b'hektish. That there is a din of she'ela b'hektish. Says the Ran, shim hiktish behema. Let's say you're a maktish an animal, b'shacht b'chutz, and you shecht it outside, v'achakach nishal oleha, and then afterwards you're nishal on it, potter. Tikivon sheish she'ela b'hektish, since you could have hektish removed to a she'el's chacham, ki'u lo hikdisha be'oilam. It's like you never maktish it. Dummy. The chacham oiker haneder mi'karoi. So this is a tremendous chiddush, that you could even have done a sin of shchuti chutz, but then you go to a ned, you can have the neder removed, and therefore you can nishal, and therefore you never end up doing anything wrong. Beis Shammai shel behektish. Now Beis Shammai says you can't do that because he holds hektish b'tois is still a hektish by mistake is still hektish. So Rashi Hamatos dechsib shchuti chutz l'mai hilchasa. So Beis Shammai leisel hu gzer shava. This Pasha Beis Shammai hu gzer shava, says the Rashi lo haviksib Rashi Hamatos b'shchuti chutz lo gamrin gzer shava. Doesn't say it there. It only says it by Nedarim. So since he doesn't hold as gzer shava, so therefore there's nothing to learn. Which brings us to question 4. Rashi Hamatos dechsib shchuti chutz l'mai hilchasa, to tell you sheish she'ela b'hektish. Right there. Zeh davar beparshas davar ma'ksiv. According to Beis Shammai, what does he do with zeh davar regarding the darim? Loimer chacham matir v'in bal matir, bal mefer v'in chacham mefer, which we said before. Zeh davar b'shchuti chutz ma'ksiv. Loimer, to tell you al shchita chayiv v'in chayiv al hamlika. The whole iser of shchuti chutz is dafka when it comes to shchita, but not when a person would do shchuti chutz with a bird with malika. Let's look on the Ran. Loimer chacham mat v'in bal matir. V'chitem l'beis hillel demukmil gzer shava minalahu. How does he know this din? So ikol meimar dimine nami yalfila. He could still learn it from here too. Then nihid is zehadavar diminadarim alav mufnehu. It's not mufneh. Kivan the zehadavar d'shchuti chutz mufneh. Haveli mufneh mitzad echad ulamedim. So even if one side is not extra, you can still learn it, but there's a question if you can ask a kasha on it. But if it's clean, then you can still learn out from there as well. Okay. So again, he learns Beis Shammai that the whole issue of shchuti chutz is dafka when it comes to shchita and not malika. Elo Beis Shammai hachshir gimel hedyotos manolan. So how does he know that 3 hedyotos can work by neder? Nafkahu min Rav Asi bar Nasan dechsev yadaber Moshes Moadi Hashem lo b'nei Yisrael v'osani Rabbi Yosef Guli Omer Moade Nemru. It says Moadim regarding Yom Tiv below Nemru Shabbos Bereshis Imohen, but it doesn't mention Moadim together with with regard to Shabbos. It only says Shabbos Bereshis. It only says it regarding the Moadim by Yom Tiv. Benazi Omer Moadi Nemru below Nemru Parshas Nedarim Imahen. That Moadim it does say, but it doesn't have Parshas Nedarim together with them. Rav Asi Rav Nasan Kashel Chamas Nisin Asil and Ardol committed Rav Sheshes V'lash Chayasa Basril Mechuzar Malay Moadi Hashem Nemer Rabu Nemer Shabbos Bereshis Imohen Vaksiv Shabbos Imohen. What do you mean it does? So Basu Moadi Hashem Nemer Rabu Nemer Parshas Nadar Mehen Vaha Mesitra Ksiva. So look at the Ran. So Vaha Mesitra Ksiva. At the corner nearby, Parshas Nedarim Ksiva Biksei Parshas Hamuadais. The Beseder Pinchas Ksiv Kulhu Muadais. Ubasar Hacha, right afterwards, Rashi Hamatos, Parshas Nedarim. So Sitra Targum Shel Katze. It's like, it's still right next to it. So what exactly is being said over here? So Amalei Hachikatani, this is all this seemingly difficult cryptic language. This is the Pshat. Moadi Hashem. Why does it say Moadi Hashem by Yom Tiv? Davke, because Moadi Hashem Srich and Kiddush Beistin. Only when it comes to Yom Tiv do you need Kiddush Beistin to establish what day Yom Tiv is. However, Shabbos Bereshis and Srich and Kiddush Beistin. When it comes to Yom Tiv, you don't need to. When it comes to Shabbos, you don't need to make a declaration that it's Shabbos. Moadi Hashem Srich and Mumcha in Parshas Nedarim Srich and Mumcha. Also, when it comes to Moadi Hashem, to establish it's Yom Tiv, you need Mumchim to do this, but not when it comes to Nedarim, because even 3 Hedyotos is sufficient. So let's look at the Ran on the previous Amud. She says, "She'en beis and Sricha Kaddish Echad b'Shabbos on Sunday kadei laso Shvi lo Shabbos, to make the 7th day Shabbos. V'hainu de'tani Moadi Hashem Nemel Inyan Kedushas Beistin." That's why it says Moadi Hashem Nemru Inyan Shisarch. Okay, what does that mean? It said Ukreprishna Shabbos Bereshis Lo Nemra Imahen Lo Se Inyan Shel Kiddush V'hainu Dekaimer Benaze Moadi Hashem Nemru Inyan Shisarch Mumchel Kadesh Chaydish V'dei HaMoadais Avo Parshas Nedarim Lo Nemra Mehen Imahen Lo Se Inyan Mashma De Boy Trey Mumchen Kovasaihu. You need 2 other mumchen like you. Being based in Shokol, and Moisivan Oid Echad Hari Kim. You need 3. Kibandev Shabbos and Nedarim Smichi Lamoadois Ksiv Boadois Elomiyute Mashim and Mamadal who call Chad Vachad. Milsi Shabbos Kiddush Basin, the EU Kaba Anavsha, Nedarim Lomer Shlo Boilo Mumchen, they feel Bedyoto Sagi. So, this is what it's come to tell us. These 2 Chidushim, which is going to tell us the specifics, why it's Moadi Hashem. Srichin Kiddush Beistin. In order for it to become a moed, so on a Yom Tov, the route you need someone to actually declare it, but not when it comes to Shabbos. Okay, so let's look at question TA 23. Eila Moadi Hashem El Beis Debar Mamatin Me'ela. Either that Eila Moadi Hashem Srichin Kiddush Bein Shabbos Bereshis Srichin Kiddush, or Moadi Hashem Srichin Mumcha Ve'in Parshas Nedarim Srichin Mumcha. What did I write over here? Same question, TB 24. Moadi Hashem Srichin Kiddush Beisin V'loi B'Shabbos Bereshis. Moadi Hashem Srichin Beisin Shel Mumcha and Mashen Kim Nedarim Shefila Hedyotos. Okay. All right. Right. Again, Ein Parshas Nedarim Srichin Mumcha feel based in Hedyotos. Fine. I Haba Parshas Nedarim Rashi Amatos Ksiv. Well, it says by Nedarim, it says Rashi Amatos. So what do you mean you can have Hedyotos? It says Rashi Amatos. Sounds you need leaders. Rav Chisda v'yitem Rav Yochanan b'yochid Mumcha. Again, as we said before, it just means you need to have one person who is a Mumcha, and that's good enough. Okay. So look at this top Ran. Mashma mahacha the yachid mumcha the shari nedarim davka samach kamumcha, someone who has like smicha. Shel Moadi Hashem dehainu Moshe v'Aaron. The chol shehu rav muvhak mater yechidi. Okay, so it's not just someone stam who knows some laws, but it's supposed to be have the status of Moshe v'Aaron. Okay, it's someone who's samuch, which means you have to have smicha. Okay. A field based in Hedyotos of our part. Okay, fine. So Rav Chisda v'yitem Rav Yochanan b'yochid Mumcha. So Rav Chanina Hashaysek al Mnas Lameikat if a person hears a neder of his wife, and he's shosak, he has one day to do something about it, but the reason why he was shosak is the husband was quiet. It says the Ran, kedei lahaknit ishto, to kind of get his wife angry, that he wanted her to think that his intention was that he should verify the neder. He really didn't think this. His intention is to annul it later on. So, if that was his intention, so so even though normally you have only that day that you hear it, but the chiddush is that since your intention was really to be made for it later on, and the only reason why we're shasik is just to cause your aggravation, so therefore the truth is, based on that intention, you have more than this day. So Mesav Rabbi, Emosai, Amru, Mes Habal, Nisroikna, Rishos Av. When do we say this din? That if the husband dies, that the father, which normally Nair Marasa, as we've been seeing in this parak, has the father and the husband together can be made for the neder. They both are necessary for it to work. Now, what happens if the husband dies? So then the kayach of hafar goes exclusively to the father. Well, that's only bisman shulasham habal. That's only if the husband never heard about it. O shesham of a shasak. Well, let's say he did hear and he was silent and then he died. O shesham of a hafer. Or let's say he heard it and then he annulled it. Umeis bo biyom, and he died on that day. O sham of a kiyim. Let's say the husband heard it and was mekayim the neder. And here's the key line over here. O shesham of a shasak. He heard it and was silent. Umeis b'yoim shalacharav, and he died the next day. Ein yachol hafer. He can't be made for. So my la b'shaisek al manasal mekat. Obviously, we're probably talking about a case. The fact that he was shasak meis b'yom shalacharav. Maybe we're talking about he was just again trying to push it off. And therefore we see you can't do it. You can't do a hafara after that day still. The answer is low. B'shaisek al manasal kayim. We're talking about a case where you're shaisek al manasal kayim. So in that situation is where, since your intention was to hakama, so the next day you can no longer do hafara. Ihachi hainu o sham v'kiyim. That sounds like the same thing as hakama. El b'shaisek stam. Rather, we're talking about a case where shasak stam. And therefore, what is this coming to tell us? So it's saying, look at the Ran, shulu gomer belibo shemakuyim mi'ata v'lo shasak gam kein al nasal mekat el shasak stam. You're shasak just totally silent. So maybe only in that situation the din is that you only have that day, and it's not going to go therefore afterwards to the father to be able to have it completely to do hafara because he was shasak stam. But maybe in the situation where he was shasak al manas lamekat, maybe in fact the hafara will work. Adkan.